So heading into week 1, we still have a quarterback controversy. Nick Foles and Mitchell Trubiski have been dueling for the starting job. The battle has been closer than anticipated, as Mitchell is fighting tooth and nail out on the field. But with that being said, sit down with me, your offensive coordinator, and let's compare these quarterbacks. So week 1 of the preseason, we took on the Cleveland Browns. Mitchell started the first half, Nick started the second. Mitchell came out 14 for 17, firing off 3 touchdowns. This performance honestly shocked me. I wasn't expecting that kind of efficiency from Mitch. But then in the second half, Nick Foles comes out and he goes 17 for 23 and also fired 3 touchdowns. After this game, Mitchell took the lead in the race for the quarterback job because of his mobility and young aim. So in game 2, we faced the Denver Broncos. Mitchell got the first quarter, Nick got the second and third, and then Mitchell finished the game. Nick Foles went 11 for 20, threw 1 touchdown and 1 pick, but moved the ball well. Meanwhile, Mitchell went 10 for 18, no touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Mitchell did not move the ball well, except for on his final drive of the game, which ended in an interception. After this, Nick Foles was heavily in the lead, so much so that entering the preseason finale, after skipping week 3, I decided that Nick Foles is clearly the starter for his consistency, but I'm not going to rule out Mitchell for one bad game. So going into the preseason finale, I was like, Nick Foles is going to get the first quarter, then Mitch would get the last 3 quarters to prove his worth. So in 2 drives, Nick Foles went 4 for 6 for 82 yards and 1 touchdown, no picks. Then Mitchell came out in the last 3 quarters and went 25 for 35, 446 yards and 6 touchdowns. Mitchell came out and absolutely dominated. He moved the ball well and he showed his ceiling. So overall, Mitchell finished the preseason with 11 touchdowns, 4 interceptions with a 69 completion percentage. All 4 of those picks came in the same game, and I'm going to waive 2 of those picks, 1 for user error and 2 just for bad luck. So Mitchell finished with 11 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Nick Foles finished the preseason with 5 touchdowns, 1 interception, and a 64 completion percentage. I waived that pick for user error. So here's the positives for Mitchell. Mitchell has good mobility and a strong enough arm to make a majority of the throws I need. Nick Foles' positives are he's consistent, he still has a good arm on him, his ball placement is amazing, and he has one thing you cannot teach but love at the quarterback position: luck. Now for the negatives. Mitchell's negatives are his ball placement is inconsistent, he's a hot or cold quarterback, and when he's cold, he is ice cold, and I can't really rely on him to win a game with his arm. As for Nick, his only flaw is his lack of mobility, which can be overcome with scheme. Overall, this is a battle of, do you want the guy with the high ceiling and the really low floor, or do you want the guy with the high floor and the average ceiling? So after looking at this, I decided to start Mitchell Trubiski week 1. After a 6 touchdown performance and the addition of his mobility, I was drooling, foaming from the mouth for what I can scheme up with this guy. Even though Mitchell is the starter though, he is on thin ice, okay, because we have seen how bad his games can get, and if it gets that bad, I'll pull in the plug. Alright, so yeah, with that being said, I appreciate you watching the QB comparison. I will catch you guys in week 1.